Thank you so much for your time, and
Thank
thank you
you.
for being here. And Nick, before we jump into tech and communication, I would love to start with the human side of things. As managing director, what's your current focus at Bomporto Hotels, and what are you most excited to achieve in the next 6 to 12 months?
Very good question. The focus is current, but it's also permanent. The focus, our number one focus is our guests, of course. And that's why we're in this business, and the ability to improve the services we offer, but mostly to make a memorable experience in any of our hotels, to provide memorable experiences. That's what we're about. And that's why we're small. That's why we're boutique. That's why we are able to to provide such an experience. So even though we have in Lisbon a 47 suite hotel and a 56 room hotel, we have a guest relations department separate from the front office department, which is able to which enables us to really cater for guests' need individually. So how are we able to do this? We spent a lot of time on back of house, analyzing requests and finding the little things. It's about finding the little things that will lead us to surprise and delight our guests. That's what our concentration is.
Ama- And this will be probably the opposite of technology. Then we will be discussing about AI, and there is a common parameter of all the boutique and small luxury hotels. So all the hoteliers that they love that seamless but memorable customer experience and CX and UX, even from a digital environment. It has come to be applied. It was a thing UX in the past for big tech companies. Now the individuals, and in hospitality, it's something that's happening because it's a user-centric and customer-centric approach. So over the past few years, how have you seen guest expectations shift? Yeah, especially around how they want to communicate with the hotel, both pre and post arrival.
Okay. I think guests are now seeking a lot more communication and active communication than they were in the past, and the standards have gone up. Yes, the guests accept easily a chatbot, but when they want something a little bit more uh, personal, they expect eventually that chatbot to quickly turn into a human being. So that's one thing we've learned. So yes, we do employ some technology. Because all the uh, let's say the requests that we have from our guests that are very standard, then the chatbot can answer them. But when we see that the guest is looking for a more personalized treatment, then we act upon it. That's why we have a team that can respond to their needs more specifically. We are SLH. We're part of SLH. All our hotels are part of small luxury hotels. So our guests have high expectations. They come from past of using wonderful properties and have a high standard of service in their expectations. So we have to be as good as the previous ones and the next ones. So yes, it is a challenge, and we are able to do so by you said yes, we are boutique, and we use the personalized approach much more, but we see technology as an enabler of hospitality. So there are a lot of things we can do with technology which is accepted nowadays by the five-star guest. We have to know the difference between when to take over as humans and leave the chatbots behind. Sometimes the UX experience on our website is great, but it's never enough. There has to be the possibility always to chat with a human, and that which we do. And our response time in every single case has to be less than 1 hour.
Which is, I think we've discussed a lot with a lot of hoteliers in the past that what luxury is. And I think nowadays the one-on-one connection with a human being is going to become a luxury. So there will be these companies that they will be fully automated and having AI applied, and then there will be the other companies that they will just want that one-on-one. And we are humans, and we want to be heard by a human and understood by a human. What about AI in daily operations? Some of the hoteliers think like in the customer journey, at the very first steps of the customer journey, landing on a website, they think the first step will be a chat box appears. But there are other smart ways of applying AI in your teams, enhancing communication or guest services. Or is there something that you are actively exploring, experimenting with any AI tools, even in personally, I believe behind, not in front of the guest, but behind the operations in the hotels, there are a lot of systems that they can support the teams to automate and make things and data more clear and act faster, have sequences that they are more bespoke around each individual. What about any tools, or are you experimenting something? Do you have a team that helps you around that?
Okay. Yes, we are training team. I'm going to be very honest with you. We are training the team at the moment with specific AI tools. We have one or other that we have started using for a while, especially the AI translators, which are the most necessary because some of the customers we have are using their own language in AI and they want you to respond in that language. So the new AI DeepL tool is interesting. We're learning to use other tools, but we use most specific tools for translation, and for other requests we use ChatGPT or we use other. We have a concierge department, but the concierge department requires. The guests require much more information than they did previously from the concierge because the guests know we have access to AI, so they know we are able to look specifically for what they want. There are guests. I will give you one example. There are guests that ask us for what the best golf route is, and we're not expert golfers. We don't have on site a golf pro, so we have to use AI for that purpose, or AI to recommend the specific experiences that is not common knowledge to concierge. Our concierge are very well informed with regards to tours, restaurants, museums, but there are specific. I use the golf one, but there are more than golf. There's people who are interested in bird watching. There are people who are interested in all sorts of things, and we don't have that specific knowledge. So yes, we use AI tools to give us this specificity.
Amazing. So, from what you just mentioned earlier, it's like emphasizing, of course, in your company, you emphasize on personal connection, and you're trying to find the balance between tech efficiencies and the charm of human-led hospitality. Yeah. This brings into our chat that emotional and brand integrity side of the conversation. And we all know that when we trigger certain emotions to our guests, it's more likely they will remember us, and this is how we're shaping these memorable experiences. And it's more likely that they will recommend, which is, even if it's an industry that we use technology a lot, the word of mouth is big. It's still happening in this industry. How are you doing around your social media, your influencers, your marketing, and all your promotion in a digital environment?
Okay. The two things are very well linked. I mean, our social media, our marketing team and our branding team, they connect the social media to the whole reputation management side. We have the tools to do so. We've had the tools even before AI came along. So this is nothing new for us. The tools become enhanced with AI, but we've had all the tools. We have what's called aggregators. Aggregators enable us to, for instance, from a one-stop shop, be able to have a look at all the comments, all the reviews made, and to answer them from that one-stop shop. Social media, we have tools that enable us to control not only the presentation we have of our campaigns, but also the reaction of the customers to the campaigns. And sometimes we understand as hotels that have their own individual positioning and concept, it's very important to fine-tune those campaigns. And so the guest feedback or the viewers' feedback or the viewers' interaction helps us to fine-tune our emotion and our using social media as a tool to, let's say, not promotion is a bad word actually, but it's more to communicate with our guests and to explain to them in a visual or non-visual way, through visual or non-visual content, the concept of our hotels, which is, the 5-star luxury, but without the white gloves, with, transparent gloves, because this is what we are today, where it's all about relationships between our guests and our team. I could give you numerous examples of the connections that are established, and our guests, when they leave the hotels, they still connect with our individual team members, because today this is possible through social media, because they exchange social media. Some say, but you have to be careful because this is a professional environment, but you cannot stop a guest from creating a relationship, with one of our team, because today they might ask some information to the team about something to do in Lisbon, and then the next day they are somewhere else in the country, and they say, "Oh, let me ask Cristina at reception in Lumiares. I have her Instagram account, what she recommends for a fishing trip in the center of Portugal." Because basically they connect with people. They look more than just social media. They looked at connecting with people. That's what they're looking at. And guess what? This is very common in our industry today.
How would you define luxury?
That's a very vague concept, because luxury is different to everybody. This is exactly the key. That question is great, Nicolina, because that's the key. You have to understand what everybody's sense of luxury is. For some people, butler service is luxury. For other people, being surprised by somebody remembering something about what they like or who they are is luxury. For some people, just a simple acknowledgement of some specific service they requested being delivered over and above what they requested is luxury. Luxury is very different to everybody. I mean, some people would expect the bedding to be luxury, but for other people, the bedding is not even a question. What they want is human contact. That's luxury to them. The relationship with a team there's loads of definitions of luxury. It's different to everybody, I think.
And all these tailor experiences for the individual. Yeah. That's why diving deep into data, which is the last 15 years, this is what's happening in any industry, having an individual and knowing even more and more and more for the individual, so we can please them in the best way and serve them in the best way we can. In any industry, this is gold, and it's not even a question if technology is serving the human or human the technology. It is something, it's a safe practice, and I think nowadays we have so much content out there, we have so many tools around AI, but the human brain has a specific amount of information that they can absorb. It's exactly giving them the right information and just connect with them in that level and keeping that frequency of connection. If a new boutique hotelier was about to start, and that will be our last question for tonight, this morning for you, to start their journey, what will be your advice to them if someone was about to open a boutique hotel and invest and do that first step in the industry?
Well, my advice to them is, whatever their concept is in their boutique property, the rule is the same. They have to consider that today's luxury customers all look, like we said, for a different concept of luxury. What they look for above everything else is personalized service. Because through that personalized service, and yes, it's great to have technology to gather this information, but at the end of the day, that information is very general, and you have to and this is where the humans, like you were saying right now, this is where the human interaction is so important. Once you've analyzed all your data, is to be able to understand that still luxury is a personalized thing, that you have to be able to provide luxury to every guest in a different way according to what their concept of luxury is. So I would say, yes, the rules haven't changed. You can have your own concept, but at the end of the day, luxury is providing each individual customer with the best possible service that they are looking for, not that the general five-star luxury customer is looking for. So yes,
Exactly.
it's
And probably they have to have a lot of energy, because I think from all the industries that I've worked, and I've worked with banks, fintechs, I've been exposed to hospitality because of some friends that they own some five-star hotels in Europe. I came to a realization that everybody that's involved, it's such an industry that has so many different departments. Somebody has to be, I've met the smartest people I've ever met, because someone has to be alert in so many different levels. And it's like an orchestra, it's a complicated industry.
yes, but I will add one thing that I didn't speak about, which is the team. The team needs to be empowered, because without an empowered team, you will never get there. It will not be the expectations of the delivery will not be the same from the customer. The customer doesn't want to speak to someone who has to speak to their manager or their supervisor. They want to speak to someone who makes decisions. So, and this is one other key aspect is, especially in a boutique hotel, you have to empower your team. And what I mean by empower is really empower them as if it was their own hotel.
It's been such a thoughtful conversation, and
Thank you.
thank you for sharing your vision and your approach to balancing innovation and, of course, authenticity, which is what is missing from the corporate environments, I think. Thank you for your time and have a great day. Thank you for your time. I
Thank you.
appreciate that. Bye bye.